Hello everybody and welcome to our third game of King of the Hill episode 8. Playing for you right now after winning 2 quick games as the USF on the west side of Nexus is our current king, Izzy.
And in the east we have our Polish newcomer to King of the Hill, Prodigally, our local OKW hero. Already locked in Spec Ops, ready to rumble.
Nice. I like that. I like the instant pick, very confident. He's like, it doesn't matter what you play. What I play is going to work. And I like that.
I mean, we should just call... I mean, there is no OKW, right, Stormless? We should just call it Spec Ops. Like, we have USF versus Spec Ops faction. Like, the only person we really see ever play anything besides Spec Ops is, like, Von Ivan, at least when it comes to King of the Hill.
Oh, he just played Austere, so not even Von is feeling the OKW love today.
Because it drains your soul. Just get so tired of it.
I will always still maintain that Scavenge is a great doctrine, Breakthrough is a great doctrine, but still underused. But.
I remember when Scavenge was the old Spec Ops. It was absolutely crazy. Just spam calling awesome Raketans, and everything turned out okay.
They were good days. Just having a quick look, by the way, at the map here. So Stern Pioneers have just got into this building. This is lovely map design. You see how the line of sight from the building peeks through the broken wall there. And building not quite giving as much sight as maybe you would have thought in terms of a sight advantage. It's a lovely map, this one, made by White Flash Reborn. And I think what I like about this is fuels and VPs kind of like spread center towards north and south. So there's going to be fighting on the wings of this map always. Of course, munitions are nearly guaranteed, I think, to each player, which always creates interesting infantry engagements.
And it has that symmetrical design to it as well that we see a lot from White Flash. If I'm not mistaken, he also made Crossroads, which is like a top tier 1v1 map. So I hope this gets the same amount of love. I'm sure he's always adjusting things. But yeah, this map looks great.
Oh, this is a very late retreat there on the Echelon squad. I think that Prodigly's trying to go at it with the Volksgrenadier, and he gets it with a last shot running max range. Knight's Cross for that Volksgrenadier. And we haven't seen this in any other game today, actually. The Echelon has always been there to provide double bazookas. So this is a good start for Prodigly, and he has a huge infantry advantage on the field at this point.
Yeah, that loss definitely will hurt when the light vehicles come out from Prodigly, because we can assume he'll go mechanized. Isildur with that huge pump up in units with the lieutenant and cav rifle combo coming out at the same time. He's floated for that, and they're both out on the field. See him hop those cavs into the jeep and look for some unsuspecting OKW units. Catch him on retreat. Always scary, because those are no joke.
Well,
Wipe you really quick.
Prodigly, I think, is maybe sussed out a little bit here, because the SWS is on the field, and well, as soon as he gets that manpower, it looks like he probably will have enough to go mechanized and get something from mechanized relatively fast. He's had a resource advantage in the game, so of course at that point the WC-51 can be Fausted and perhaps isn't as much of a problem.
Got a tactical Spec Ops group moving towards the...
Task Force Delta, your mission is to take down the WC-51.
Good one, man. Straight out of Call of Duty.
Yeah. It's definitely Call of Duty programming, that. Get everyone running together.
But in all fairness, OKW without a Raketan, they really don't have much choice but to blob like M3s or WC-51s. Because you're going to lose the one-on-ones every time.
this blob is just ridiculous. It kind of draws all the attention to this one engagement. It's kind of stopping.
Like that's
stopping.
another car 98.
Yeah, actually the WC-51 just getting pushed around. The Stern Pioneers get close range, so actually penetrating some of the armor there. WC-51 has to be careful and might come into some pathing issues. It goes down.
Ooh.
And say
That's
what
the
you
one-
want about blobbing. I actually think that there are times when you need to use it. It is a strategy. It's part of the game, and that just shows when you should be using it, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Those units early on are really annoying to deal with as OKW when you don't have your shitbox Riketten to miss shots for you. So the next step is to blob out the light vehicles. One thing you always notice, I don't know how much experience Isildur has with this map, but one thing you can always watch for is the way people path their vehicles on new maps when they're not familiar with it. Like that definitely looked like a pathing, you know, screw up. Either if he's just not used to the way the map's obstacles are laid out, or he just, you know, messed up directionally.
Yeah, it is a tough one. Perhaps stayed there a little bit too long as well. It's been interesting. We have the creator of the map in chat, so I'm pretty sure he'll be getting hold of this replay and, you know, having a look about the pathing in the area. It's always good to review these things.
There we go. Our good old Panzer II, our old friend, is in production now. Elected to go for the quick Q on that, so he's going to be a bit of a delay on him reinforcing all his units. They're all pretty low. So this might give Isildur some time to actually take some territory back. Because right now he has pretty much nothing.
Every single game today, Izzy has had total territory control over his opponent. So to see this from Perdigli is very promising. Of course, with mechanized and the fuel boost he's getting in at the moment. Very promising for this build. Of course, it's going to be relying on this the Special Operations Command Panther later rank, so likely maybe won't tech tier 4. And we'll go for Battle Grouper. There's that mine in the center there.
If you saw that, Perdigli was literally a couple seconds away from the Panzer II hitting the field, but the Stuart revealed itself at the last second, and he immediately canceled it and queued up a Puma. So he's going to have the hard counter to the Stuart out on the field, along with the infantry advantage, so Isildur is going to be on the back foot once that Puma hits. Nice little flank from Lieutenant, but it's going to be easy retreat here for Perdigli.
Yep, there's the Puma, and actually what I really love from Perdigli here is because he now has the infantry advantage. He's had it since the start of the game, taking down the echelons, and he's been maintaining it well. Actually, he's able to just left and right across the center of the map, really dominantly able to push any of the US units off if they spread out. So it's really going to force Izzy perhaps to also blob a little bit himself if he wants to effectively gain territory.
I think we saw another instance of pathing malfunction from Isildur. He was trying to reverse, but then went forward through and was forced to pop his, what is it called? I think shell shock. So the Puma wouldn't chase it down. So that cost him a boatload of munitions, and yeah, didn't really get anything out of it.
I feel like a boatload of munitions is a very vague. Are we talking like a yacht or a cruise liner? Like, what do you classify as a boat?
I don't know, a boat? Like a little small boat?
Momo completely stumped by this.
I don't know. I never thought of it that way. I'll get back to you on that.
Momo, quick Google search. What is the average size of a boat? So
there we go.
Next, personal. There goes the snare, the AT snare. Stuart needs to still be careful. That's a big shot from the Puma. and cannot get close due to the Volksgrenadiers. Panzer II Lukes will be on the field soon, likely going to go up and defend that Puma, getting back to the base. Still about these Stern Pioneers repairing this far up the field, to be honest.
Yeah, he's trying to get as much distance away as possible from these chasing riflemen. Just one more snare and it'll kill it off. Particularly scrambling to get all these between so that he can hold them off, and it looks like he'll be successful here. He's got 2 available to defend. Got the MG34 set up behind the Puma. It looks like Isildur is going to try to go around, and Particularly is aware of this, using his infiltration nades a little bit late, but good attempt at scaring this rifleman away. Meanwhile, in the south, we have a freshly rebuilt rear echelon with sweepers, shift capping the south side of the map.
Not for long.
Yeah, here comes cute little Panzer II. Cute, but the cause of much suffering and pain.
Oh, another great mine from Prodigy there. On a very narrow channel between the house and the strategic point north side. But Izzy is actually making good ground back on this map. There's been a bit of change in his build, and because he hasn't had this great resource gain that we've seen in other games, he's elected to go for a second Stuart, which isn't a bad idea.
No. It's sort of like the same thing you've seen from DevM with the double T70. It's just that extra firepower that lets you burst down these mechanized light vehicles. It's not something to scoff at when, you know, 2 Stuarts are focused firing a Puma, especially if you add the shell shock ability on top of it. It makes it very awkward for the Puma to deal with. And there's no Raketten on Prodigy's side. He's actually built another MG34. But one thing to know, that 50 cal from Isildur has been extremely clutch in winning him some engagements already. He's forced off around 3 Volksgrenadiers now. The Lukes and Puma reacting to the Stuart. It's gonna get after. There we go. If he waited a second longer, he would have gotten that 50 cal wiped. Now we see some bazookas. Oh, you know what? He actually does have double bazookas on the rear echelon. Amazing counter to these light vehicles.
Yeah, and this is interesting because the Minesweeper, of course, masks the fact that the bazookas have been upgraded afterwards, so lulling Prodigy into a false sense of security there. There should be an AT snare on the Lukes now. This is bad for Prodigy. He's trying to micro. Actually, he micros it to get the Puma. And didn't think that would be the choice. Smoke has been popped.
Oh,
crazy
the
infiltration.
Go down to infiltration nades.
Oh my god, what an engagement.
Oh, Isildur loses the rear echelon on top of the Cav rifles and drops a bazooka. Giving a bazooka to Volks is not good. They got a snare now on top of some light AT.
That was a crazy engagement, honestly. Like, I think maybe a few mistakes from Isildur in terms of like what he was snaring, and obviously the rifleman there from the infiltration grenades. But I really thought that Prodigy was going to come off worse there.
Yeah, look at the Puma. It literally has nothing left. Slowly creeping away, amazed that it's still alive, waiting for repairs.
It's actually on a really long out of control, you know. Just
I've seen that before, actually. It's funny you mentioned that.
yeah.
We're just going and going and going.
There's a great clip of one on Samoski Winter where it reverses back to the base and the crew gets out and dies, and then the Stuart is just like, hey, you know, feel free to repair me and use me again.
I remember that.
From the center of the map back to base. Crazy, but let's not talk too much about that. And back into this game, of course, Easy, he went for the double Stuart to try and counter the mechanized regiment build that Prodigy's playing. It was the right counter, but Easy just taking a bad engagement. Rifleman, I think, about to go down on the west side. Very lucky to get away with that squad.
Another decal out from Isildur, this one not having too much luck, trying to fight off Volks in green cover. Forced to retreat there. More infiltration nades coming down on these barred up riflemen. This time Isildur does dodge them.
There it is. So much action happening on the map. Riflemen trying to gain control of the situation. They've got to really tech themselves to perform well against light vehicles. Stuarts trying to deal with these Volksgrenadiers. There's a Faust. And Volksgrenadier gets away, I think, just with a little bit of line of sight. The Puma taking long shots. There's sight there provided by the Volksgrenadiers. Terrible engagement for Izzy. Looks like he may lose both Stuarts. One goes down. Second one, this is great micro from the Puma. There it is, both Stuarts down. Izzy in a terrible position.
Yeah, that's gotta be game. Easy cleanup for the Puma. Isildur just couldn't catch a break on all these squads getting away through the line of sight blockers. Saw that a couple times with some Volks, and ultimately the Puma and Prodigali just executed well. Took down the king.
Beautiful game, GG.